We're closing in on the Microsoft big not E3/E3 showcase, and it looks like we're going to be getting some pretty cool announcements. Now, obviously, I've kind of covered some of the leaks and some of the rumors and things like that. There's obviously been even more than that, as even Tom Henderson, probably the best and most respected person in the industry that leaks stuff, says there is big surprises in store from Microsoft. And I think that's good news for everybody all around, as we're all expecting a big blowout, a big showcase, and Microsoft is in a much better position to do that. Just like I said back in 2018 when they started acquiring these studios, I said 2023, 2024 is going to be about the time when we start to see the big differences and the big game makers come out and actually have something new. And it looks like that's exactly what we've seen. Now, there's also a rumor going around that Microsoft has purchased another studio. It's not a giant studio, but it is a studio that has helped them out recently and has had a string of hits in the interim as well. And so this was one that I thought was interesting and worth covering because, for one thing, I want to point out that, yes, they've done some incredible work lately, and they've been partnering with Microsoft on multiple projects, even putting multiple games in Game Pass. But with that being said, there is one small stitch in this idea or this rumor or this leak. So take everything with a grain of salt, and we're going to get into it right now. So this new rumor is that they're actually going to be getting Asobo Studio, which you might go, oh, that name sounds familiar, but I can't quite remember what they've done. So Asobo Studio are the ones that did A Plague Tale and Plague Tale 2. Both those games, Plague Tale 2 launched directly into Game Pass, but outside of those two games, which, by the way, both those games were in Game Pass, they also did Microsoft Flight Simulator. So they did that as well, which I thought was very interesting. They were founded in 2002. They actually do a lot of stuff. They've worked with a lot of major industry players, including Microsoft, Disney, Pixar, Ubisoft, and Focus Home Interactive. They have developed or co-developed 24 games, including key entertainment franchises as well as original creations. The latest entry, released in August of 2020, of the Microsoft Flight Simulator series, set a milestone in their journey. It strengthens the established partnership with Microsoft and marks the beginning of the studio's long-term commitment with the franchise. So a lot of people assumed that at that point, when Microsoft was also buying a lot of studios, that they would obviously be the next to actually go out there and be acquired or whatever, but apparently there would be this little bit of complication, which is that they actually, unfortunately, got a minority stake bought into them from a different company. So that doesn't mean that they couldn't be bought. It just, I think, complicates things in a different manner. So Sagard Newgen acquired a minority stake in Asobo Studio. The flight simulator developer opened its capital to support its growth while preserving its strategic and creative autonomy. So basically, this happened actually a couple of years ago, and I do see a lot of people talking about how they were very much thinking that Microsoft maybe picked them up, and it would make sense because they're continuing to work on Flight Simulator. They did Plague Tale 2, which went right into Xbox Game Pass. Not only did they do that, but they updated Plague Tale 2, and it was they unlocked the frame rate, and it was just, they really seemed to understand the Xbox Series X hardware, and they were able to push that to like the next level, which I think is a pretty cool thing to do, because we haven't seen that by a lot of developers so far this generation. Most developers either tend to make things as even as possible, or they will short Microsoft because they make, you know, the priority the PlayStation version or what have you. So yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that kind of thing happens, but yeah, exactly what has happened is they actually took full advantage of the Xbox, and you know, that's something that I think is cool, probably, that Microsoft has taken kind of a look at or whatever. Like I said, not the end of the world or anything like that, or something that specifically couldn't be bought, just that it probably would complicate matters and things like that. So these rumors always tend to persist, though, and always tend to kind of stick out there as Microsoft tries to make the rounds and things like that. I think that this would be a smart one to do if they could pull it off. And the reason why I think it would be a smart one to do is because they managed to get Plague Tale 1 and 2 out within a 3-year period. Both very high quality games and things like that. Clearly they can take advantage of the Xbox hardware, and they can get games out on time and don't seem to kind of suffer with a lot of the same issues that some of the other developers have. Being that they've been around for a long time, they kind of know the deal and know what they're doing. So I think that's pretty cool as well. I think there would be good for like Game Pass. You could get the series, continue to have that in Game Pass, maybe even make it exclusive. They can continue to do updates on stuff like Flight Simulator, but there's like they have enough teams and things like that where they could continue to add to the to what Xbox is trying to do, and without hurting anything else. So yeah, I think that would be incredibly smart for them to do, and it would be good for Microsoft too. Microsoft tends to screw things up from time to time. So I think this would be a studio again. Like, listen, if you ask me, if the Call of Duty Activision thing would have went through on time like it should, Microsoft probably would have already bought some more studios. The fact that they haven't been able to do that or whatever really kind of lets you know where they stand with all this stuff, though. And I think that Microsoft possibly would have even bought the Square Western developers, like Crystal Dynamics and the Montreal studio that did Guardians of the Galaxy, because they're already utilizing both those teams anyway. And then they would have had like the Tomb Raider developer, and they would have owned the Tomb Raider IP and a bunch of other IP. And I think Tomb Raider can be right up there with like Uncharted and things like that. Honestly, it could. So I think they really kind of missed the boat with that, but I do think they're at a point where they can definitely pick up some more studios and things like that, and that wouldn't affect what's going on with the Activision deal, because I think the Activision deal is its own thing. And honestly, you have to be able to go out there and kind of have these things the way that they're affected with gamers. Like gamers look for certain things in each company that they get or whatever. So that's what they need to do. They need to continue to kind of push these things and make sure that they do the right thing for gamers all around. Is it possible that Microsoft has some big things planned and things like that? I think absolutely. Buying another studio or other studios is probably very much a key to their to what they're trying to accomplish as a company. And I look at what's going on with this and what's going on with the future of Xbox, and I think that is a very smart thing for them to do and for them to accomplish. So hopefully we continue to see stuff like that in the future, where they can pick up these studios and keep things kind of moving in a good direction. I think that's going to be smart, kind of going on from here on out. So I hope that they kind of pull that off and make sure that gamers have great stuff to choose from now on. This is something that they realistically need to do. You have Game Pass. It's not just they're kind of forging the way here with that. It's not just a cut and dry thing. But I do doubt that the Asobo thing has happened, unless, they could pay off the companies or whatever, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm excited about the future of Xbox, unlike ever before. So hopefully things are starting to kind of perk up in a big way for Microsoft. What do you guys think? Do you think they're going to pick up some new studios? Let me know. Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate everyone that watches. If you watch the video, please leave a like. I'm Crap Gamer. This has been Crap Gamer Reviews. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.